Before you swipe right again, ask yourself this. How well do you really know the person you're about to meet? In a world where everyone wears a mask, some are hiding something far more sinister than a bad personality. These are 3 real stories, not fiction, not urban legends, but true tales of what happens when trust turns toxic, when romance goes rotten, and when love becomes a trap. Welcome to Velvet Shadows, where the darkest parts of humanity are dragged into the light. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another true horror that might just be happening in your neighborhood. Because tonight, we explore dating horrors that go beyond heartbreak. This isn't a warning, it's a wake-up call. Let's begin. Story 1, The Basement Date, New Jersey, 2019. Some dates change your life forever, others end it. This is one of the stories that might make you never want to date again. And I'm not here to scare you, I'm here to warn you. Her name was Emily Carter. She was 25, a nursing student, bright, soft-spoken with a smile that made strangers feel safe. She had been on dating apps before, nothing serious, nothing weird, until Nathan messaged her. He was 37, clean-cut, tech job, deep voice, silver streak in his beard. He seemed mature, something rare for most guys online. Polite, articulate, even poetic. He sent her voice notes. They talked about everything from books to heartbreak. He said he liked quiet girls who were gentle, not loud, not messy. It seemed flattering, but later, that phrase would haunt her. After 2 weeks of texting and late-night calls, he said the words that felt both thrilling and dangerous. Why don't you come over for dinner? I'll cook. Something special. Just us. Somewhere quiet. Emily hesitated, but he insisted. I live out in the woods. It's peaceful, no neighbors, we can talk without any noise. So she told her roommate she'd text when she got there. She never sent that text. It was a cold Friday evening in February 2019. Emily drove almost 45 minutes from the city. Nathan's house was hidden behind rows of dense pine trees and sat alone at the end of a gravel road. It was dark, but a soft yellow porch light glowed. Nathan greeted her at the door with a grin and a glass of red wine already poured. She thought, romantic. But the moment she took a sip, her stomach turned. She asked what kind of wine it was. He laughed. Something strong, for a strong girl. Those were the last words she remembered clearly. Then, blackness. Emily woke up to complete darkness. The air was cold. The floor beneath her was cement. Her wrists were tied, her mouth taped shut. She couldn't scream, she couldn't move. Then she heard him, Nathan, sitting across from her, calm, smiling, holding a small notebook. You're safe now. You're mine. I've been watching you for weeks. I knew you were the right one. I made this room just for us. This wasn't a date, it was a trap. And it had been planned for months. The basement was soundproof. No windows, no cell service. Only Nathan and his notebook, filled with detailed sketches of girls, faces, names, times, some of them crossed out. Emily was missing for 3 days. The police only found her because of a GPS tracker her roommate had secretly installed on her phone months ago as a joke. A silly gift, something she used to laugh about, but that tiny device saved her life. When they raided the house, Nathan didn't fight. He just stood calmly and said, I only needed one. She was supposed to stay. Emily was found in a locked chamber 6 feet underground, sedated, dehydrated, but alive. Nathan was convicted on multiple charges and is currently serving 37 years in prison. And Emily? She doesn't use dating apps anymore. She doesn't go anywhere without sharing her location, and she never drinks anything she didn't pour herself. They say love is blind, but sometimes love isn't love at all. Sometimes it's the mask of a predator. And now I want you, yes, you, listening, to remember this. I made this room just for us. That's the phrase Nathan whispered to her in the dark, a phrase that still echoes in her nightmares. If you're still listening, comment that phrase below. Just type, "I made this room just for us." Let's see who's brave enough to type it. Let's see who paid attention, and who's willing to never forget what real danger looks like. If this story chilled your spine, there's more where that came from. These aren't just ghost stories. These are warnings. Real people, real danger. Subscribe now to Velvet Shadows, because in the darkness of the dating world, you don't always find love. Sometimes you find monsters. Story 2, The Tinder Widow. They say love makes you blind, but what if love was never real to begin with? This next story isn't about ghosts or demons or haunted houses. No, this one is about something far more terrifying. A person, flesh and blood, who lies with such precision. You'd swear it was love. Welcome to Velvet Shadows. And this is the story of Anna, and how she fell in love with a man who didn't even exist. Anna was 31, living in London, a graphic designer with a soft spot for romance novels and a Spotify playlist called Rainy Day Love. She wasn't desperate, she wasn't naive, just hopeful. She met him on Tinder. His name was Liam. Tall, green eyes, stubble, charming smile. He worked in finance, or so he said. His profile was polished, his texts were perfect, witty, clever, gentlemanly. But it wasn't just looks or charm, it was how he made her feel. Seen. They texted non-stop. He called her every night. Flowers arrived at her office. He remembered her coffee order. He said she made him believe in forever again. And Anna believed it too. But there were odd things. He never let her visit his flat. Always some excuse. It's a mess. Under renovation. Not enough space. She never met his friends. Never saw where he lived. But he always came to her place. Always had a reason not to stay over. Then one night, after 14 months together, she followed a hunch. He mentioned leaving work early. She pretended to be busy and quietly followed him. He didn't notice. He walked into a quiet suburban street in Croydon and into a brick townhouse. Anna waited outside for nearly 2 hours. That's when the front door opened. A woman stepped out, mid-30s, 2 kids tugging at her coat, and Liam walked out right behind her. He kissed her on the cheek. He kissed the kids. He smiled like a husband, because that's exactly what he was. Anna didn't scream, didn't confront him. She just walked back to her car, in the rain, and cried without making a sound. The next day, she searched, deep, obsessively. His real name was Stephen Collins. Married, 2 kids, lived in Croydon. But that wasn't the worst part. She found 6 other women on Reddit and Facebook, each describing a man eerily like Liam. Same voice, same green eyes, same phrases, same promises. He had created multiple identities, each one customized to the woman he was targeting. Different jobs, different profiles, different accents. He even used fake trauma stories to build emotional intimacy. He had told Anna about his brother dying in a car crash, but another woman said the same story, except he called it cancer. The man wasn't real. He was a walking lie, a mirror that reflected whatever you wanted to see. But the darkest part, one woman named Rosa Alvarez, age 28, vanished 6 months earlier. She had been dating Liam too. She had even quit her job and moved into a flat she never told her friends about. Rosa was last seen getting into a silver BMW, a car Stephen drove. Her body was never found. Her phone, deactivated. Her social media, wiped clean. Stephen was questioned, but never arrested. There was no hard evidence, they said. And to this day, Rosa's name is whispered in online forums as the Tinder Widow. Anna changed after that. She deleted Tinder, deleted every picture of Liam. She went to therapy, started walking everywhere with a hidden cam app on. And every time she hears someone say, "I think I've met someone special," her skin crawls, because love doesn't always lie. Sometimes it never existed to begin with. Before you swipe right, before you fall too deep, ask yourself, how many versions of them are out there? That's the question Anna never asked until it was too late. If you made it this far, comment below. How many versions of them are out there? Let's see who's listening. Let's see who's awake. Because predators don't wear fangs anymore. They wear cologne, fake jobs, and tailored profiles. If this story sent shivers down your spine, you're not alone. There's more. Real stories, real people, real horror. Subscribe to Velvet Shadows now, because in the world of modern dating, the scariest thing you'll ever meet might not be a ghost. It might be the person you just said yes to. Story 3, The Disappearing Man. They say the scariest monsters aren't the ones who chase you in nightmares. They're the ones who say, "I love you" first. What if everything he told you was a lie? What if you weren't the first or the only? Welcome back to Velvet Shadows, where the real horror walks among us. This is the story of a man who vanished without a trace and left behind a trail of women who wish they never met him. Her name was Jess. She was a bartender in downtown Seattle. Smart, grounded, funny. She wasn't easily impressed until he walked in, Thursday night, late December 2022. He took a seat at the end of the bar, quiet, polite, but intense. He ordered a bourbon, neat. His name, Caleb, a traveling photographer, or so he claimed. "I chase storms," he said, "and broken places. You can only capture beauty when it's falling apart." Jess found that line poetic, haunting. They talked for hours, and something about him felt different. Safe, familiar, dangerously sincere. They spent 4 nights together over 2 weeks. Each night, he revealed more. Stories of war zones in Syria, photos of disaster zones, the pain of losing his younger brother in a landslide. He even cried once. And Jess believed every word, because when someone bleeds in front of you, you don't question where the blood came from. Then one night, he said something that didn't feel poetic. It felt like goodbye. "I'm leaving tomorrow, New York project, but I'll call you, I promise." The next morning, Caleb was gone. No goodbye note, no last message. Phone, disconnected. Instagram, deleted. Email, bounced. Jess didn't panic, not at first. But as the days turned to weeks, and the weeks to silence, she began to dig. She searched his name. Nothing. No photography website, no travel blog, no LinkedIn. The photos he showed her, reverse searched. They belonged to a Canadian photographer, a real one, not Caleb. His name wasn't Caleb. It was nothing, just air. She had fallen in love with a ghost. Then she found a Reddit thread, posted by a woman named Rachel from Portland. The title, "Has anyone else met a man named Caleb who says he's a photographer?" Jess's blood ran cold. The stories were identical. Same name, same fake trauma, same exact quotes. "I chase storms. You can only capture beauty when it's falling apart." More women joined the thread. Denver, Chicago, Phoenix. All of them had met him. Same look, same voice, same pattern. Love bomb, connect, vanish. But it wasn't just heartbreak. One woman from Chicago reported $6,000 missing from her bank account. Another said her passport had vanished. A woman in Salt Lake City found her security cameras disconnected 2 days after he stayed the night. He was more than a liar. He was a chameleon predator. FBI sources believe this man, real name still unknown, is operating across multiple states, using a fabricated identity to prey on emotionally vulnerable women. He's a scammer, a manipulator, possibly worse. And he hasn't been caught. Jess lost money, her passport, her sense of safety. But most of all, She lost herself. She questions every connection now, every compliment, every smile, every man who tells her, "You're different." She keeps a journal now, and on the last page, she's written the words he said to her on their final night together. "Some people exist only for the moment. Maybe I was never meant to stay." That line still echoes in her ears. And now I want you, yes, you watching, to comment those exact words if you made it this far. Type in the comments, "Maybe I was never meant to stay." Let me see who listened, who felt it, who will never forget this face that doesn't exist. The scariest monsters don't hide under beds. They hide in hotel rooms, dating apps, and first kisses. They don't stalk you through forests. They steal your identity and your trust. Subscribe now to Velvet Shadows, because some of the most chilling stories aren't haunted. They're human. They say love is the most powerful force in the world. But what they don't say is how quickly it can turn into something far darker. In each of these stories, Emily, Anna, Jess, love wasn't gentle. It wasn't kind. It was a weapon, used by people who knew exactly how to smile, exactly how to lie, and exactly how to disappear. Think about that. A girl locked in a basement, a woman betrayed by a man with 7 faces, a bartender falling for a ghost who never existed. These aren't horror movies. They're not legends. They happened to real people, just like you. So the next time someone says, "Trust me," the next time someone seems too perfect, the next time you fall a little too fast, remember, the most dangerous monsters don't come out at night. They come dressed in charm, wrapped in warmth, speaking poetry, and waiting for you to let your guard down. If these stories chilled you, if they made you think twice about who you trust, then do one thing for yourself. Subscribe to Velvet Shadows. Because we tell the stories they don't warn you about, the ones that lurk behind locked doors, behind smiling eyes, and right behind your next match. In the comments below, let us know which story got under your skin the most. And if you remember the phrases, go back and comment them. Let's see who's brave enough to face the shadows. Until next time, stay sharp, stay skeptical, and don't forget to check the locks before you fall in love.